Tonight's shave is going to be with this, a vintage UK, as in England, Aristocrat, number 15. As you can see, it's got teeth instead of the solid bar. It's an open comb razor, and it's widely regarded as one of the best out there. One of the best that Gillette ever made. It's on the short list by a lot of people. So we're going to give it another run, and we're going to put a sharp blade in there. We're going to put feather. It's been used 16 times, so it's not a young feather, relatively speaking. And the brush we're going to use is this Stirling Boar brush. It's a 24 millimeter Boar brush, and I'm evaluating several bores kind of all at once, and it's one of the ones that is not quite softening up as quick as like the Simogues, for instance, or the Zeniths. And that's fine, because some of them just take longer. So it might be a little bit scrubby, not quite as comfortable, but it's a baby, so that's just the way it goes. The soap for today is my first try with Platinum from Fine Accoutrements. This is their cool ceramic soap bowl that their pucks just fit right in. Inexpensive, hard tallow puck. Great lather, in my opinion, and probably anybody else's. Sometimes they're a little bit drying, but I'm fine with that. I go to oily skin anyway, and even if I had average skin, you could throw it a balm afterwards and be just fine. If you got dry skin, it may be something you don't go with. I've heard dry skin folks have to team up a good, nourishing, hydrating soap with a moisturizer even afterwards. You know, both of those are necessary if you have really dry skin. All right. As usual, splash of water before I start prepping and stuff. All right. I'm going to use this cool lather bowl. This has an interior diameter of 127 millimeters. I'll put the link in the description in case you want to go and print your own. This is a 3D printed. If you have a 3D printer, this is a plastic bowl that an awesome guy named Roger put together, and he sent it to me. And I'm really happy to receive it, and I've been really enjoying it. And we are going to take, and to conserve this soapy water that we have around in here, I'm going to pour that into my lather bowl, because I put 2.5 teaspoons on the soap. And that is definitely going to be conserved and enjoyed. Now, we will load the brush. I'm going to shake a lot of the water off. A lot of times with the hard pucks, you don't have to soak them. It just saves you a little bit of load time. Some people are religiously averse to soaking. All right, this is their Platinum. I think it's supposed to be the Creed Aventus inspired soap that they have. A lot of people really like it. And so we're going to go with a 30-second load. I'm going to wait about 5 more seconds for that to start. And then we will take the lightly wet brush, and there's the 0 mark. 30 seconds is probably more than I really need. But let's just do it anyway, and we'll see how many extra passes I have. I have 2 other of these cool ceramic loading bowls from Fine, and they stack, which is really neat. They don't have lids, but they stack. And there's 30 seconds. Not a super strong scent. All right. No balancing act down there. I'm going to rinse off this while it's easy to do. All right, now that's clean. We've got the water we poured in there, and then we've got the water that was on the brush when we started everything. And that's going to take us a good way toward a good lather. Probably going to have to add a little bit more. All depends on how much soap I manage to pick up during those 30 seconds. Now, are those 30 seconds going to match exactly with you? Depends. How closely your brush resembles this one. If it picks up soap in the same rate that this one does, then it should be pretty close. Started out kind of bubbly, like a lot of soaps do. Bubbly and airy, just stir right through it. Let's see how it looks. Pretty good. The scent is just surprisingly light. Wow. I just didn't really see that coming. And the soap is starting to get a little bit more dense. See, look, what I just pulled out a couple of seconds ago was a lot smoother. Look at those details and the swirls right there. See, it's thickening up a little bit. I pressed down a little harder. I believe this brush needs that, perhaps. I think what's happened before is I left a little water in the brush because I didn't quite get it down in there and agitate it enough all the way up to where the water was. This is a slick soap. Just, oh yeah. I do not feel the ridges in my fingerprints, and this stuff is good. So, let's start adding some water. I'm going to fill my syringe up. So we put 2.5 teaspoons already. Let's put another teaspoon. That might be all we need. Some people like to push a brush down to maybe add air and stuff to the lather. I don't really, that just doesn't seem right to me. And I don't want to mess up the brush by pressing it in that way. I prefer a swirling motion. This may not be something that is rooted in fact at all, but it's just one of those things that just feels right to me to kind of break up some of those skin oils and things. Man, I just expected it to be a lot stronger. Okay, let's take a look and see how the lather is now. Kind of work it all down to the bottom so we can lift it up. Look at that, it's got a nice sheen on it. It is on its way. Let's add another It might take another teaspoon. Let's just be a little cautious and do half a teaspoon. So let's take a little finger test. Really nice and slick. Just starting to feel the bumps in my fingerprints. So why don't we just call that and go ahead and see if that is the way to go with this particular soap base. And this hard soap will last quite a while, and it's not very expensive, so that's one of the reasons I'm a big fan of fine soaps. All right. Rinse my face, wash this soap off. All right, first pass. Lather looks good, definitely not too thin. This is a scrubby brush with lots of backbone. With a Badger, that doesn't change a lot. But with a Boar, both of those aspects will change over the life of the brush. With use, it'll splay open more, give it less backbone, and then the tips will split, making them softer. I'm going to need, you can see kind of how thick this is. Going to need to add a little bit of water. I've just started using the spray, little Dollar Tree spray thing of water. It just applies water more evenly, seems to maybe make less of a mess. And here's one clue that I'm doing things right. Look, I'm kind of increasing the amount of lather on the brush. So this soap definitely needs more water in the, I can also spray the brush. This lather needs more water in it. Matter of fact, I'm going to kind of rake some of this extra stuff on the side of this brush off a little bit. Because we just have so much on my face, I'm confident I don't need that extra. I think we're almost there. I got a good whiff of the scent right there. See, look, plenty of lather. So yeah, that really needed more water, quite a bit. Hey, let's just shave with this and see what happens, huh? Sometimes at this stage, it's not quite wet enough. I mean, it's wet, but relatively speaking, it's not quite wet enough to almost, and these are my words, bond to my face to really protect it really well. All right. Oh, very, very comfortable. Okay, so we've got two. I went ahead and put the other half in there, and I'm going to put another half in there too, and we'll mix that up right before I use it. I am definitely feeling the blade edge. I think I do have to be a little careful with this one. All right, very good. I rinse off the razor and then rinse off my face. All right, went ahead and added that, earlier I added that extra water to the bowl here. Look at that lather. Let's just see if it's a little better. I think it will be. Left some water on my face because I know it's not too thin yet. Because this brush is very scrubby, I'm going to switch to the painting motion pretty quickly. Tons of lather, I bet. The way I had so much residual slickness on my face after that first pass that I thought, I could probably take an empty brush, get it wet, and put it on my face and work up another lather. Just the way it felt that much. This is just a slick, so creamy, slick. All right. And here we go again. Definitely had more blade feel in the first pass. Maybe it was just the lather and how maybe I mixed it a little too dry. I needed to keep watering it down just a hair because this is perfect right here. I'm getting tremendous glide. Not feeling the razor edge nearly as much. Like I'm feeling it 1/10 as much as I felt it on the first pass. I just had that lather a little too thick. I told you that 30-second might be more than I needed, and I think that was right. All right, very good. Rinse. So the scent on this, the Aventus type of scent, the cologne, I'm getting when I'm down in the sink rinsing off and crazy amounts of lubrication and slickness are just still on my face after those passes. It's just nuts. And so in terms of feeling luxury and like you're really doing something, this is a good soap to do that. All right. The scent is more intense when I'm down there rinsing. I guess the agitation and just having everything around. I'm not smelling it as much in the lathering process. Third pass. Let me see if I can detect it now on the third pass. Yeah, but it's really light. I'm going to say 3 out of 10. But it is kind of a strong fragrance. I mean, it's a cologne and it's a bold cologne. And so they may have put it in such a small strength because they didn't want to drive people nuts. This is awesome. This is a tremendous lather. All right, third pass. Razor feels great. Smooth. Of course, by the third pass, most razors are going to feel smooth. So I guess that's really worth comment. Well, I guess maybe it might be worth something, you know, to say that this is not so aggressive that I definitely have had razors on the third pass that have built up a level on my skin of irritation layer by layer. And then by the third, I'm like, wow, I'm irritated. I didn't see it coming, but I'm a little irritated in some areas. Usually it's just on my neck. All right, there's my trouble spot done right there. Curious to see how well. And rinse. Well, sure enough, this little trouble spot right here has been shaved nicely. Mostly it's flush cut, and there are some where I can see the tips, but just the ends of them, no length on them, so that is very above average for me. So I'm interested to maybe try this again sometime with this blade and this razor with a fine soap, maybe where I have that first pass dialed in a little better, because wow, it's just terrific. Feels great. All right, I'm gonna throw a little balm on there while we're at it. Let's see what I have down there. Oh, hey, I have Executive Man by Stirling, which is also an Aventus inspired balm. Usually I'm not able to match the balm and the soap. In this case I am. I like the Executive Man from Stirling, the soap as well. Other companies, a lot of them, because this fragrance is just so popular, and I can see why. I mean, I enjoy it. My wife likes it. Executive Man from Stirling. So you have the fine platinum. You have, I think, is it Spartacus from some other company? Can't remember if that's Ariana and Evans or if that is like PAA or something. You've also got Razor Rock did one. Can't remember what that is. All right. And there's one that's, Declaration Grooming just came out with Sellout, because they named it Sellout because everybody likes it. So they just felt like they had to do it. It's a good one if you like it kind of weakly scented. And I guess it kind of is along the lines of this one too. There's a really rich lather, but it's not strongly scented. And the lather looks just nuts. Look at that elasticity. And it doesn't look airy or anything like that. It's just a tremendous, this is a great performing lather. So good. All right. Very nice. So I ended up adding about another 1.5 teaspoons to the lather. Probably could have added a little bit more. In a sense, I'm probably going to throw away this formula. Next time, maybe just load for 20 seconds and then just make sure I push the lather a little farther than I did this time with the water, because I stopped way too short. Ended up with a lot of lather on the brush and on my face that was just kind of extra, as you saw. All right, a little bit of cleanup now. Got the balm on. Face feels great. It's a non-alcohol balm, and so I didn't really have any spots kind of perk up as that were irritated, you know, like an alcohol splash can tend to do. Face feels great. I've got no irritation. I see this usual very, very light red mark here. Don't know why I get it there, but a lot of times it does happen. I don't feel anything right there. So, nice irritation-free shave. Now, with some of the smokes I have, with just the few uses that I've done, and I did it today as well before the shave, soaked it for a couple of hours in water. and then I'm going to not shave with it for a few days because I want to make sure it dries and has a chance for those tips to split. And so especially with this brush where I want to make sure that progression keeps going, I'm going to make sure that I do some towel stropping here. With the Simogs, I don't actually mind if they kind of stop their progression because they're so soft right now. Really enjoyable. I'm doing some strokes, and then what I do is I'll turn it 90 degrees so we get flexing in all the directions. And this one's got so much backbone that I'm putting actually a reasonable amount of force behind it to really flex those bristles. So this little handle, I mean, this looks like a pretty small brush on the internet, on their site, it's actually kind of very stocky. It's got some weight to it, and it's bigger than it looks. And the handle is probably one of my shortest handles, but I'm able to use it and enjoy it and grip it because of this shape. This shape is just inspires great strength of grip, and you don't have to grip it like a death grip when it gets wet and slippery, and I like that very much. So I think I had one or two bristles come loose during the shave. I saw one on my face. And yeah, we've got some tips that are splitting. It's still super scrubby. If that doesn't change too much, and some boars never get soft, they stay scrubby. I mean, some people like that. Then I'll probably just pass it on to somebody else because I do like them to be pretty soft. So cleanup's done. That was a good shave. The 15 is just a piece of history. And it's like a piece of jewelry, really. It's just so nice. The etching on the handle provides a really secure grip, so there's practicalities there as well. You definitely see why it's so well regarded. The feather worked well in it. I did have to be careful. I could tell that if I slacked in my technique a little bit, it got a little sloppy, especially in my neck area. Then it was going to let me know by generating some razor burn, maybe even a nick. But it was very safe, comfortable, especially after that first pass where the lather was just kind of too thick. I don't think it was protecting me because of that. It was just a little too dry. But the rest of the shave was very good. And it was just a one-day growth, what we were working with. The boar brush, not changing too much. It's not scritchy, it's not scratchy, but it is it's kind of scrubby, and it's not all that soft quite yet, but it's still very young, so definitely allowance for that. A little disappointed in the strength of the soap. I really wish it were stronger. Well, you know, obviously shave with it some more. It was nice when I got down doing the rinsing and stuff. I got some really good whiffs of it where it amped up to maybe a 5 out of 10 instead of the 3 out of 10 in terms of scent strength. So there's that. Anyway, a little piece of history, and this is my first time shaving with that platinum puck. Really like the fine Accoutrements line of soaps. I've heard they have creams now, but I haven't tried those out. I think they're economical. You can even take the pucks and put them in any container you want. In that case, it's just $12.50 for something that's going to last a pretty long time. And triple milled soap. It's a good quality soap there. All right. I hope there was something here for you. And this is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Take care and good night.